Hello everyone, my name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and we are live here at the Schlunch Gym this Friday night for the Brookline Warriors boys basketball season opener against Braintree High. Brookline coming off a very good season last year. They finished with 22 wins overall, clinched the first seed in Division I South, but ultimately fell in the semifinals to 5th seed and regional rival Newton North. So fans will certainly have next Thursday's game at Newton North circled on their calendars. But for right now, it's the start of a new season, and a new season with a very new-look Brookline team. They graduated some key players from last year, among them Chris Camille, a very powerful presence last year for the team. And then, of course, they also graduated Mark Barrett, a key player in a lot of situations. And then one tough realization at the end of the summer, the announcement of the transfer of rising senior Matt Price. He was clutch throughout the season last year and was coming into his last year going to be a big-time player for the team, but he transferred over to Kimball Union, so he will not be here this season. And yet, with a big school like Brookline, they just have an ability to reload a very veteran-heavy roster. They still got 8 seniors back on the varsity roster this year, among them co-captains Ben Murray and Ben Ordonez. Should make for a very interesting game tonight. Give fans a look at what this year's Brookline team should look like. A lot of hype to live up to after last year, but a very different roster to do it with. We'll be right back for the announcement of starting lineups. I'm Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and thank you for listening. Hello and welcome back to Schlunch Gym here in Brookline, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. We are here for the first game of this 2019 to 2020 boys basketball season between the Brookline High School Warriors and the Braintree High School Womps. This marks the 3rd straight year these two teams have opened the season against each other, but the first in that 3-year span that this game has been played in Brookline. Should be an interesting look at a new team for Brookline that graduated a bunch of key players as we get ready to hear the starting lineups.
For tonight's Bay State Conference boys basketball matchup between the visiting Braintree Womps and your Brookline Warriors. Participating student athletes, coaches, and contest officials have worked diligently to prepare for today's competition. Please show your appreciation by demonstrating good sportsmanship and respect for all in attendance. Please ensure that your behaviors reflect the values that should be identified with these student athletes. Assume responsibility for your behavior and the behavior of those around you. If you require assistance, please call upon a school or security official. Any verbal, written, or physical contact related to race, gender, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or should not be tolerated, could subject the violator to ejection, and may result in penalties being assessed against your team. And now for tonight's starting lineups. First from the Braintree Womps, who are coached by Bob Cook. Starting at guard, senior captain number 10, Dean Boyd. Starting at guard, sophomore number 11, Amari Howell. Starting forward, sophomore number 14, Jordan Gore. Starting at forward, junior number 24, Omar Barnes. And starting at forward, junior captain number 31, James Lennon. And now for the starting lineups. For your home team, your Brookline. The Warriors are coached by Valentine. Starting at guard, a sophomore, number 25, starting at forward, a senior, number 23, starting at forward, a senior, number 22, starting at guard, a senior, captain, number 10, and starting at guard, a senior, captain, number 2, Our great nation has persevered through the leadership and sacrifices of men and women who have served or are currently serving in our armed forces. We'd like to thank our veterans and current military personnel for your service to our country. Now we invite all to stand for the singing of our national anthem by VHS sophomore Riley.
The lineup introductions out of the way, and beautiful rendition of the national anthem by our current PHS students. We now get ready to get underway. Brookline High going with a lineup of senior co-captains Ben Murray and Ben Ordonez, as well as fellow senior Lucio Dalstet Brown, sophomore Devani Perez, and finally, senior Miles Avalon, and we tip off to start the game. Braintree wins the tip. And that's number 11, Amari Howell. He passed it over to the 24, Omar Barnes. It gets back out to Howell, kicks it into Barnes. Barnes goes for the shot, stuffed, and stuffed again. Two great blocks by Lucio Dalstet Brown, followed up by a block from Miles Avalon. Some great defense by Brookline to start the game, but it's out of bounds, still Braintree's ball. They pass it in. A third block, this time by Devani Perez, and it looks like they're going to call jump ball and give the ball to Brookline. So Brookline with 3 straight blocks to start the game, and they go to inbound. Inbounded from Dahlstedt Brown over to Murray. Murray bringing the ball across half court. He passes it over to his right to Ordonez. Ordonez driving in, runs into traffic, backs out, gives it out to Perez, who then passes it over to Murray. Back out to Ordonez. Ordonez tries to drive around the corner, but bumps into a defender, and that's going to be a foul on Braintree's, I believe, number 10, Dean Doherty. So Brookline will get the inbound. It'll be Dahlstedt Brown on the inbound. He looks for an open teammate, passes it out to Murray. Murray goes inside, kicks it out to Ordonez. Ordonez dribbles around, gives it back to Murray on the far corner. He passes it out to Dahlstedt Brown. Dahlstedt Brown travels. So an empty possession to start for the Brookline offense. Empty possessions for both teams, really. And now Braintree takes over. Number 14, Jordan Gorham inbounds over to number 11, Amari Howell. Howell crosses half court with Ordonez covering him tightly. Howell dribbles to his right. He's still looking for an opening. Ordonez won't give him anything. He tries to drive in. Can't help him. Defense by Dahlstedt Brown, and then the layup goes nowhere. A fast drive by number 23, Miles Avalon, but that shot does not go. Rebounded by Braintree. They've got nobody in front of them. And that's a pass from Howell over to number 14, Jordan Gorham, who sinks the layup for the first basket of the game. But Brookline moving fast to pass over to Murray, and he makes the basket. A great find, I believe, by Dahlstedt Brown, who noticed an open Ben Murray streaking down the near sideline. And with a 2-2 score and 6:31 left to play, it looks like we got another foul on Doherty. I don't know what happened there, but somehow Brookline gets the ball back. Must have been an offensive foul on Doherty, perhaps an illegal pick, and now he'll sub out of the game. They bring in number 5, Alex Toye. Inbound out to Murray. He goes for a three, but he is rejected by Gorham. Gorham trying to chase down the ball. He picks it up eventually. Dribbles back behind three-point line. Shoots. No good. Front rim. Rebounded by Dahlstedt Brown. He gets the ball under control and crosses half court. My mistake. That's not Dahlstedt Brown. That is but he finds Dahlstedt Brown, who sinks a three-pointer, and now a 5-2 lead for Brookline. Howell bringing up the ball for Braintree, covered again by Ordonez. Brookline playing some man defense here as Howell gives it over to Gorham. Gorham with the ball against Murray. He tries to dribble around, but he finds traffic. Kicks it outside to number 24, Omar Barnes. Shot no good, but rebounded by number 31, James Lannon, who puts up the putback. Braintree closes the deficit to 5-4. Just over 5.5 minutes left in this first period. Ben Murray with the ball. He brings it across half court, dribbles to his left, passes over to Dahlstedt Brown on his right, who passes it back to Murray. Murray goes inside, hits traffic, but goes for the shot anyway. He's blocked, and it's recovered, but then the pass is stolen. That was at Perez, who kicks it out to Murray. He goes for a three-point shot, no good, and it looks like we got a foul on the rebound. And that's on Alex Toye. Now we got another substitution. It looks like Gorham is coming out for number 20. That is Jack McCarthy. And Brookline looking for the inbound. It's going from Dahlstedt Brown to Ordonez. Ordonez tries to drive the lane. He runs into traffic, passes it over to number 23, Miles Avalon, who then kicks it to the outside. And that's Perez. Perez with some fancy dribbling, gets the crowd hyped. He passes it over to Murray with a nice drive, and he lays it in. Some fancy moves by Ben Murray gives Brookline a 7-4 lead with just under 5 minutes left in the first. Amari Howell bringing up the ball. He tries to drive the lane, runs into traffic, but kicks it out. Shot no good by Lannon. Rebound by Murray. He gives it over to Perez, over to Dahlstedt Brown. Dahlstedt Brown drives, draws a foul on the shot. That's going to be another one on Toye. So 2 fouls on 2 different players for Braintree to start. And Brookline with a substitution. It's Theo Murray coming in for Miles Avalon. And another sub for Braintree as Gorham comes back into the game, substituting for Toye. And we have got a timeout by Braintree with 4:39 left in this first quarter. And Brookline leading 7-4. Pretty good start for Brookline. We've been seeing some good defense, some very good help defense by Brookline, really. Anytime Braintree starts to beat their man, they instantly get joined by another guy off the block. Either it's a guy like Perez or Alvalon or somebody. Brookline playing some very good team defense to start. They started off with that triple block, and that really set the tone for them defensively. Braintree has managed to find a couple of baskets off some open looks, either off of loose balls or off of rebounds. Meanwhile, Brookline finding their baskets the hard way. Some really fancy moves so far. A really nice layup by Ben Murray as he weaved around multiple defenders for the most recent basket. And of course, the lone three-pointer of the game was hit by Dahlstedt Brown. So a 7-4 score as we get ready to come out of this timeout with 4:39 left in the first quarter. 14 fouls by Braintree already, 0 by Brookline. It's a good start for them on that counter. As we get ready to inbound, that's Dahlstedt Brown going for the inbound. He's looking for another player trying to direct, but he kicks it out to the outside to Murray. Murray tries to drive in, almost loses the ball, passes it over to Perez, who then finds Ordonez over in the corner. He tries to drive, kicks it out to Dahlstedt Brown, who drives inside. Shot no good. Gorham pokes through, gets the rebound. He runs with Murray in defense. Murray with the block from behind! And he passes it up to Ordonez. Ordonez driving, trying to put up the shot. Fakes out his man, but still too difficult to lay up. It's rebounded by Braintree. But another great block by the Brookline defense on that defensive end, with Murray coming up with a huge block from behind. Some more great defense from Brookline as Howell handles the ball against Ordonez, puts up the shot, a contested shot, but he gets it in after a nice pump fake. 7-6 now the score. Brookline with a slim lead, less than 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. Perez goes over to Ordonez on the left. Ordonez tries to drive in, kicks it out. That's Perez from the corner. 3 points for Perez. That's the second three-pointer of the night by Brookline so far. This one by Devani Perez off a nice pass for Ordonez. And now Braintree with the ball. Gorham tries to drive in. Borderline travel, but no call there. And he hits the layup. A nice drive as he managed to hold onto the ball from a poking Brookline defender. But Ben Murray says, anything you can do, I can do better. He drives straight through the hole for a quick layup. 12-8 now the score in favor of Brookline. And Ordonez trying to come up with a steal in the back court, and he almost gets it, but it's out of bounds. Ball will go Braintree's way. We've got a myriad of substitutions going on right now for Brookline. Andrew Mitchell will join the floor. And subbing out will be Perez after that great three-pointer he had a couple possessions ago. Braintree bringing up the ball. That's Gorham dribbling around Murray. He gets around his man, and it looks like that's going to be a foul called on Murray. That's the first foul of the night for Brookline. Well, Braintree has already committed 4, but now the ball belongs to Braintree. Inbounding will be Chase Cahill. Cahill looking for an inbound. He goes over to Howell. Howell being defended by Mitchell. He tries to throw it in. Deflected, but it's recovered by, or a shot by number 12, Chase Cahill. Doesn't make the shot, and a scramble for the ball on the rebound. It's picked up by Murray. He passes it back out to Theo Murray, who then passes it ahead to Mitchell, who gives it over to Murray on the left side. Murray drives inside. Oh, what a layup. He drove straight into double coverage down in the paint, and he still floated up that layup. Some really good drives to start so far for Ben Murray. Now Gorham trying to drive. It's poked away by Dahlstedt Brown. Brookline has the ball once again. He fits a pass through, and it goes ahead to Mitchell. Mitchell trying to drive, and he makes the layup, but they're going to call the charge. Charge taken by Cahill. And a nice drive and floating layup by Andrew Mitchell. Unfortunately, Chase Cahill with a nice defensive poise taking the charge. And so the score remains 14-8 in favor of Brookline with 2:18 remaining in this first quarter. Going for the inbound, that was Omar Barnes, who inbounds it over to number 10, Dean Doherty. He tries to dribble around Mitchell with some difficulty, but he gets it across half court. He's now on the left side, and it looks like we might have a foul call, and that's going to be against Devani Perez. So Brookline with 3 very quick fouls to nearly even up the score on the foul section of the scoreboard. Still leading in terms of the actual scoreboard. An inbound pass over to Mike Murphy. He gives it over to Jack McCarthy. Shot no good. And it looks like we got a battle for the rebounds between Theo Murray and Omar Barnes. And they're going to call a jump ball. Possession arrow to Braintree. So Braintree will take the ball again. Mike Murphy going for the inbound for Braintree. And he looks around for an open man. Inbounds over to Alex Toy. Toy covered by Ordonez. He's looking for a shot inside. He passes it inside. That's number 20, Jack McCarthy. He tried to put up the shot. No good. Loose ball is picked up by Devani Perez. He throws in a pass. And what a layup by Dahlstedt Brown after a great pass through the hole by Perez. 16-8 now the Brookline lead with 1:30 left in the quarter. Alex Toy bringing up the ball. Covered by Ordonez. He goes over to Murphy, who then goes over to McCarthy, back over to Toy. Toy looking for the opening. He hits traffic, and they're going to call a travel. Theo Murray got his hand on the ball, stumped him as he was trying to find a way through, and that just interrupted him perfectly. Drew the travel call by Toy. Again, just more of some great defense by Brookline to start things out. And Ben Murray subs back into the game, replacing Ordonez. Dahlstedt Brown looking for the inbound. He finds Mitchell, who gives it back to Dahlstedt Brown. Dahlstedt Brown with a heaving pass over to Murray, but it's juggled and it's lost out of bounds. That'll go to Braintree. We got another substitution by Brookline. Looks like Alex Socorro will come into the game, as well as Miles Hart and Jack Altman, as they sub in for Theo Murray and Andrew Mitchell and Lucio Dahlstedt Brown. 1:12 left to go in this first period as Brookline makes a number of substitutions. And Braintree looking to inbound. That's Barnes looking for the inbound. Stolen away. Perez with a nice interception. He finds Ben Murray for another layup. Braintree with a timeout. And how about that Brookline defense? They have been holding Braintree to single digits so far. 18-8 the score with 1:07 left in the period. Some really great defense coming up with some very big blocks, some big turnovers, and just giving some opportunities for them to drive the lane. Ben Murray with some great layups so far to start. He has about 8 or 10 points through this first period. He's been doing a very good job of finding the basket. Devani Perez with that last steal and find Murray. He's had a couple of nice assists on the past couple of possessions, including that one threading the needle to find Lucio Dahlstedt Brown. A lot of great performances across the board by Brookline to start. Some really great team play, great passes, great help on the defense, and we get ready to resume play. Braintree's Omar Barnes going for the inbound. He finds Amari Howell, who's got some space. He crosses half court, but he's found by Devani Perez. He's still dribbling around. He's looking for it. He lost the ball. Amari Howell faked himself out with that crossover. Lost the ball out of bounds. A sloppy turnover by Braintree. And Devani Perez, who was on the man coverage on Howell right there, is going to sub out for Andrew Mitchell. Mitchell will take the inbound. He gives it over to Murray. Murray possessing the ball. Less than a minute to go. We are now down into the seconds. Murray passes it over, and the passes eventually find their way to Alex Socorro, who puts in an easy layup. 20-8 now the score in favor of Brookline. Braintree's Howell now with the ball. He dribbles to his right. He's covered by Mitchell. He's still dribbling around looking for an opening, and that's going to be a reach call on Mitchell. He tried to poke the ball away from Howell as he dribbled around him, but nothing doing. That'll be Mitchell's second foul of the game, Brookline's fourth. And so now an even 4-4 on the foul score, but a very uneven score on the scoreboard. A nice inbound to Barnes. He goes for the layup, but nothing doing. Rebounded by Miles Hart, who dribbles across half court. Hart passes over to Mitchell. Mitchell's got the ball on the far side. Mitchell passes over to Socorro. Socorro pump fakes, dribbles in, fakes again, puts up a shot from the free throw line and hits it. 22-8 now the score in favor of Brookline. Braintree inbounds to Howell. They have not stopped. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Howell tries to put it up, but Oh, even though he makes the three-pointer, he's called for a travel. Another just tough turnover for the Braintree offense. 0.7 seconds left on the clock, so I don't expect anything to happen here. A last-second heave, but nothing doing for Socorro on that last heave. A very strong first quarter by Brookline High to start. They lead 22-8 over the Braintree Womps. And we are back here at Schlunt's Gym. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, broadcasting what has been so far a bit of a blowout of a boys basketball season opener. The Brookline High Warriors leading the Braintree High Womps 22-8. And Brookline starts off with the ball. Ben Murray gets the inbound. He tries to dribble across half court. He gets there, passes it over to Lucio Dahlstedt Brown on his right, who passes it back to Murray, who drives in, kicks it out. Devontae Perez from the corner. Three-pointer, no good. Omar Barnes wins the battle for the board and passes it up to a streaking Josh Deppina, but another huge block by Brookline. This time it's Devontae Perez. I can't even keep track of the number of blocks the Brookline defense has so far, but Braintree will maintain possession. Gorham on the inbound. He passes it out to Deppina, who dribbles in and out and then passes it over to Howell. Howell trying to get a pick. He drives inside, and it looks like he's going to draw a defensive foul. I think that's going to be on Ben Murray. No, it's on Devontae Perez. That's the fifth foul of the game so far for Brookline, second for Perez. Howell misses the first free throw, and the score is 22-8, still in favor of Brookline. 7:30 left in the half. Howell hits his second free throw, and we've got our first swing of substitutions. Perez comes out for Miles Hart after committing his second foul, but not before making another great block. This Brookline defense just cannot stop. Dahlstedt Brown inbounds it over to Ben Murray. Ben Murray dribbling against Howell. He crosses half court. He's driving. He kicks it out. That is Hart from the corner. Can't hit the three. It's rebounded by Braintree, and that'll be Gorham bringing the ball up across half court. Gorham still holding the ball. He kicks it over to Barnes at the top. Barnes kicks it over to James Lannon on his right side. Lannon passes it back over to Howell. Howell holding the ball. He passes it over to Gorham in the corner. Gorham looking for an opening. He passes it over to Lannon. Lannon tries to drive in, looking for an opening. Was he just blocked by Miles Hart? Are you kidding? Another block. The loose ball, I think, was picked up by Braintree, but I think they violated the shot clock. And Jack McCarthy coming in for Braintree, as well as Chase Cahill. They sub out Lannon and Barnes. And I think that might have been a 24-second violation by Braintree that gave him the ball back. Hart inbounds to Ben Murray. Ben Murray dribbling down the far sideline. He passes it over to Hart, who gives it into Ordonez, who is dribbling across the back line, but he stepped on it. Out of bounds, Braintree ball. Braintree's Jordan Gorham inbounds over to Josh Deppina. Deppina brings the ball across half court. He's covered by Ben Murray. Oh, but he fakes him out, drives in, kicks it out for an attempted three by Cahill. He misses badly, but an offensive rebound by Gorham, it looked like. And he tried a shot, lost the ball, and it went out of bounds. So Braintree retains possession with 6:23 left in the half. And we got another substitution. This is Brookline. Theo Murray comes in for Ben Murray. So we got Murray for Murray on this substitution. An inbound over to McCarthy, but it looks like we're going to have a blocking foul. Cahill inbounded to McCarthy on the run, and it looks like they're not going to call a blocking foul. It's going to be a reach on Dahlstedt Brown. And so another inbound attempt, the same exact play, but it's knocked away. Brown recovers, almost loses the ball as he dribbles around, but manages to maintain possession. Ordonez now with the ball. He kicks it out to Theo Murray. Theo Murray drives in, tries to lay up, no good. Rebounded by Deppina. Deppina passes it over to Howell on the near sideline. Howell with the ball. He almost slips, but he manages to kick it over to Deppina. Deppina tries to pass over to Gorham, but a wild pass goes off of Gorham's hand and out of bounds. Brookline with the ball. Dahlstedt Brown inbounds to Ordonez. Ordonez chucks it over to Hart, who's one-on-one. He tries to dribble around McCarthy, but draws the foul from Braintree's Jack McCarthy. A nice find for Ordonez for a nice one-on-one situation. And as a result, Miles Hart was able to draw the foul. Dahlstedt Brown will be taking the inbound once again. But first, we got a brief whistle. We got a substitution. Alex Socorro coming in, replacing Lucio Dahlstedt Brown. Socorro will be passing in the inbound. And now he looks for his man. Gives it over to Theo Murray, who passes it up top to Ben Ordonez. Ordonez tries to drive, runs into traffic, gives it back outside to Theo Murray. Murray over to Miles Avalon. Back over to Ordonez, over to Murray, who tries the three, and he hits it! 3-point ball from Theo Murray. And the score is now 25-8 in favor of Brookline as Theo Murray hits the first bucket of the quarter. Jack McCarthy got the ball, passes over to Cahill. Then inside the ball goes. And Jack McCarthy hits the lay-in. That's Braintree's first bucket of the quarter. Ben Ordonez with the ball. He passes it over to Theo Murray. Then over to Miles Avalon in the corner. He drives inside. He's at the free throw line now. Tries to take a shot with a man in his face. No good. But, Ben Ordonez tried to chase down the rebound. Nothing doing. Gorham drives the floor. Tries to pass it over to McCarthy. But the defender's caught up, and it looks like there will be another foul on Brookline. We'll see what the call is. That's going to be a foul on Miles Avalon. Is what it looks like the call. It's his first foul, 7th for Brookline. We got a substitution. Jack Altman comes in to replace Miles Avalon, and Jack McCarthy of Braintree will be shooting 2, as they gave him the blocking foul this time. McCarthy puts up the first. It was a 1-and-1. He misses the first of the 1-and-1. Rebounded by Hart. Passes over to Theo Murray. Theo Murray looking for Altman. Altman catches it. Manages to keep himself from going out of bounds. Passes out to Socorro. Over to Murray. Back over to Altman. He drains the 3. Oh my goodness. Brookline opening with 2 big threes, and wait a minute. Are they giving him an and one, or are they waving out the basket? I'm trying to figure out what the refs are saying. They blew a whistle. Oh my, Brookline thought it was a timeout, but it wasn't. I'm just as confused as Brookline right now. But the basket does count. Braintree takes over. Dribbling up the ball is Dean Doherty, with Jack Altman defending after hitting a 3. Dean Doherty tries to pass it over to Howell, but Howell, with some pressure by Ordonez, steps over the half-court line. That'll be a backcourt violation by Braintree, and Brookline gets the ball back. James Lannon checks back into the game, replacing Chase Cahill for Braintree. The ball is inbounded over to Brookline's number 31, Daniel Dalzell. Dalzell passes it over to 33, Alex Socorro. Socorro over to Allman again. He takes another 3. Nothing doing this time. Rebounded by Doherty for Braintree. Doherty brings the ball across half court. He's looking for a man to pass to. He passes it over to Lannon, who passes it back out. I believe that's Howell. Yes, it is. He dribbles to his left. Found a slight opening, but still defended from behind by Theo Murray. Shot doesn't go, but I believe they're going to call a foul. Yes, they are. It'll be against Brookline. That's their 8th foul. First foul by Theo Murray. 8 fouls in the half so far for Brookline, as Howell misses his first free throw. So Brookline now in the bonus. So bonus free throws for Braintree, but in this case just regular 2 shots. Howell misses the second one after it just rolls off the rim. Theo Murray grabs the rebound and dribbles across half court. Theo Murray passes it over to Dalzell, who then passes it over to Hart. Back to Dalzell. He puts up the shot, airballed, but it looks like a foul. I think that's going to be against Braintree's Omar Barnes. It is against Omar Barnes, and Dalzell's going to get 3 free throws here. Brookline having a great amount of success from behind the arc so far tonight. Dalzell goes for his first free throw, and he hits it. Dalzell has given the team a 29-10 lead. He goes for his second free throw and hits another one. Brookline has crossed over into 30 points. Braintree only has 10. Dalzell going for his third and final free throw. And he hits it. Even when they don't make the threes, they get three. And now Howell brings the ball across half court for Braintree. He passes it over to Gorham. It looks like another defensive foul was being called in the Brookline students section, chanting 3-4-3, 3-4-3, as Dalzell hits all 3 free throws. That is a nightmare for anyone who commits a three-point foul. But the foul was called on Theo Murray. That's his second. And Gorham will get the first of 2 free throws of a 1-and-1. And now with his second foul, Theo Murray subs out for Ben Murray. And now Jordan Gorham will take his second of the 1-and-1 for Braintree and front rims it. A fight for the boards, and it's picked up by Dalzell. Ball is passed over to Murray. Murray brings it across half court, scores 31-11 in favor of Brookline, and it looks like there's going to be an offensive foul on Murray. He drove in, but Omar Barnes stood his ground, and that's going to be Ben Murray's second foul on the night. 10 fouls for Brookline so far this half to Braintree's 6. Amari Howell bringing the ball up for Braintree. It's being covered by Dalzell. He passes it over to James Lannon on the near sideline. Lannon passes it up to Gorham. Gorham over to Howell on his left. Passes it over to Lannon. Inside to Barnes, a floater pass. And Barnes sinks the layup and draws the foul from Alex Socorro. A nice floater pass by Lannon and a nice finish by Barnes. You have to give him credit because in a game this lopsided, unfortunately, not much credit is going to go to Braintree, unfortunately, for those players. Because Brookline is just playing too well on both sides of the ball right now. A 31-13 lead with 3:07 left in this first half as Omar Barnes goes for the and-one free throw. Free throw is up. It's good, but it looks like we might have a loose ball foul. Oh, it's a foul on James Lannon of Braintree. So the free throw counts for Barnes, but because of Lannon's foul, which brings Braintree up to 17 fouls this half, now both teams are in the bonus, and Alex Socorro gets a 1-and-1. Score is 31-14. Socorro goes for the first of the 1-and-1 and hits it. 32-14, now the score. Socorro going for the second of the 1-and-1. Puts it up. No good. Fight for the rebound. It's picked up by Barnes. Barnes passes it over to Howell to bring up the ball. He gets it across half court. Howell looking for a crossover, trying to get some leverage on Dalzell. He does, drives in. Some help came, but it looks like there's going to be a foul. It's either going to be on Dalzell or Dalstet Brown. That's going to be on Dalzell. That's his first of the game. And Amari Howell, they're going to call that a blocking foul, so he'll just shoot 2. But he makes the first, so it really wouldn't have mattered if it was 2 or a 1-and-1. Score now 32-15 in favor of Brookline. Howell puts up the shot, and it rolls out. I think it rolled out. Picked up by Dalzell. He passed it over to Dalstet Brown. Dalstet Brown brings it across. Dalstet Brown dribbles inside, kicks it out to Altman, but the shot does not count, even though he hits the 3 from the corner. They're going to call a foul. And that's going to be against Jordan Gorham from Braintree, his first. And now Lucio Dalstet Brown will get the 1-and-1. I'm sure Brookline would rather have the 3 from Altman, but you know, you take the points where you can get them. As Dalstet Brown goes for the 1-and-1, misses the first, and it looks like we have a lane violation by Braintree, so Dalstet Brown will get to shoot again. So once again, Dalstet Brown taking the first of a 1-and-1. And he puts it up, and he makes it this time. Braintree confused for a second. They thought that would be the second shot, but this was a 1-and-1, and the first one didn't count. So now Dalstet Brown gets a second one. 33-15 the score. He puts it up and sinks the second, so that lane violation costing Braintree 2 points on the scoreboard as Brookline now leads 34-15 with about 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Howell with the ball, being covered by Dalzell. He passes it over to Doherty on his left. Doherty passes it across to Gorham. Gorham pump fakes, drives in, goes for the layup, and it's a charge. Who was that drawing the charge? That was Socorro drawing the charge. And so Gorham commits his second foul. We got a Brookline substitution. Ben Ordonez comes in to replace Dalzell. Ordonez gets the ball. He passes it over to Altman. Altman passes it back to Ordonez. Ordonez looking for an opening to cross half court. He finds it after some shifty dribbling. He passes it, gets away from his initial target, but then out to Dahlstedt Brown, who then finds Socorro on the corner. He misses the shot, but the rebound is made by Brookline, but then a putback shot missed by Miles Hart, I believe it was. Braintree gets the rebound, runs the floor, and I think Brookline may have drawn a jump ball. And now they get the ball. Ben Murray comes into the game, replacing Miles Hart, and now Ordonez with the ball. Passes over to Ben Murray, back to Ordonez. Ordonez controls the ball. He's looking for an opening. Gets one. He's across half court. Now he's looking, passes over to Murray. Murray, whoa, he was looking to pass to Dahlstedt Brown, but he wasn't ready, so he stopped. Almost traveled, but he kicks it over to Ordonez. Ordonez drives, tries to find Socorro, but it looks like Ordonez drew a foul. Looks like that might be against Omar Barnes. It is against Omar Barnes. His second. And now Braintree has 10 fouls, so both teams in the double bonus now. And Ordonez taking the first free throw. He misses, but now that it's the double bonus, it does not matter. And looks like some protests from the Braintree coaches. I'm not sure what they were looking for. Maybe a lane violation, but shot wasn't up for grabs. So Ordonez goes for the second free throw. He hits that one, and now it's 35-15 Brookline. The pass over to Howell. He crosses half court. He's got Ordonez on him. And drew Socorro over to help. Tried to float it to Barnes. Deflected, but picked up by Gorham. Gorham dribbles in, but kicks it out to Howell. Howell trying to drive inside, and it looks like he drew another foul. Howell's been drawing a few fouls this quarter. Let's see who this one is on. This one's going to be on Lucio Dahlstedt Brown. That's his second. And Howell will be at the line shooting two. Both teams in the double bonus, of course. Howell puts up the first, and he hits it. So Braintree now up to 16 points, but Brookline at 35 as Dahlstedt Brown subs out in favor of Miles Avalon. A couple of sub-ins for Braintree, including Chase Cahill. 1:25 left in the half. Howell puts up his second free throw and hits it 35-17 as the Brookline crowd was starting to chant jingle bells. That's Altman, who just runs alone, takes a shot from the free throw line and hits it. Where was the defense? 37-17. Now the lead for Brookline. And that's Alex Toy now taking up the ball for Braintree. He passes it over to McCarthy, who passes it over to Murphy, over to Toy, underneath to McCarthy, and he lays it in. Ordonez inbounds to Ben Murray. Ben Murray now just dribbling by himself. He drives to the hole, almost hits the layup, but just didn't have the angle. It may have been slightly deflected. Now Alex Toy with the ball for Braintree. Passes over to Howell. Howell tries to throw it inside to Cahill. Cahill seemed to save it, but there was a loose ball, and they're going to say it's out of bounds off of Brookline. So a great save by Cahill off of an errant pass by Amari Howell. And Braintree will retain the ball with 41.8 seconds left, and Brookline leading 37-19. Cahill inbounds to Howell on the corner. Howell dribbling around, looking for an opening. He tries to dribble in, can't find the opening. Passes it inside to McCarthy. McCarthy backing down. He tries to pass, intercepted by Altman, who passes ahead to Ordonez. He's all alone, and he hits the layup. 39-19. 20 seconds left in the half. Braintree was mad about a non-foul call on McCarthy's drive inside. Now Alex Toy with the ball. He tries to pass, deflected. Picked up by Miles Avalon. He goes for the lay-in. He makes it! even with some defense, he makes the fast break. 2 straight fast break buckets by Brookline, and this will end the half. No shots put up. 41-19 is the score now for Brookline. And I don't know if one-sided covers it, folks. Brookline has more than doubled Braintree as the Brookline student section chants scoreboard, scoreboard. The scoreboard's certainly not a pretty sight for Braintree right now, but a very beautiful sight for Brookline. They've been playing very well on both sides, and that was perfectly symbolized by those last 2 plays. A pair of fast break buckets off of the steals, 1 basket made by Ben Ordonez, and the last bucket of the half made by Miles Avalon. Hello and welcome back to Schlunt's Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts. I am still Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. The score, however, is very different from the first time I introduced myself tonight. As we get ready for the start of the second half, the Brookline High Warriors have a commanding 41-19 lead over the Braintree Womps. We have our first half statistics, and we're going to take a quick look at those. For Brookline, Ben Murray leads the way with 10 points. All 10 of those he scored in a very dominant first quarter, where Brookline outscored Braintree 22-8. Following Murray is Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown, who has 7 points so far, 5 of which came in the first. And then next is Jack Altman with 5 points, all in the second. And following those guys, we have 3 points from Devani Perez, 5 from Alex Socorro, so he's tied for third with Altman. 3 points from Theo Murray, 3 points from Ben Ordonez, and 3 points from Daniel Dalzell, and 2 points from Miles Avalon. So that is the summary of the scoring for Brookline. Very well spread out, with a very dominant first quarter by Ben Murray leading the way, as he accounted for almost half of their first quarter points. Looking over at the Braintree side, a bit of a shorter list. Leading the way with 5 points each are Jordan Gorham and Amari Howell. Howell with 3 made free throws in the second quarter, while Gorham made 2 baskets in the first. And then after those 2, we got 4 points by Jack McCarthy off a couple of layups in the second quarter. 3 points by Omar Barnes off a bucket and an and one. And then 2 points by James Lannon. And that sums up the scoring for Braintree. One thing that's too bad about the stats we currently have available is that we don't get to see the total number of blocks, steals, turnovers, things like that, because the defensive performance by Brookline thus far has been nothing short of sublime. I can't even keep track of the number of blocks they've made so far as a team, as well as the number of loose balls they picked up, sloppy turnovers that they forced, kind of like forced errors versus unforced errors. The forced errors that Brookline has made Braintree commit have been a pretty big part of this dominant performance. As we get ready to start this third quarter, the Brookline student section doing the roller coaster routine with one student in the front and center, leading them on whether to throw their arms back, left, or right. Student section is going to be a lot of fun. They're intimidating as heck if you're from the opposing side and sitting anywhere near them. But when you're just getting to watch and enjoy the antics, or heck, I imagine even if you're inside the student crowd and getting to be part of the antics, it's all kinds of fun. And it's definitely been a fun game for Brookline fans so far as we get ready to start the third quarter. Jordan Gorham looking for the inbound for Braintree. He finds Howell in the corner. Howell tries to pass it back to Gorham, and Gorham's not there to pick up the ball, but Ben Murray tried to chase down the ball right as it was about to bounce out of bounds, and he touched it, giving the ball back to Braintree. So Braintree gets a bit of a break there on what should have been a quarter opening turnover. Gorham inbounds to Doherty. Doherty dribbles around Devani Perez. Doherty trying to look for an opening, and it looks like Perez is going to have the first foul of the quarter. So the first foul of the half goes to Devani Perez. That's his third foul of the game so far. And Gorham once again looking for the inbound. He finds Howell in the corner. Howell floats it inside to James Lannon. Lannon tries to kick it out, but it's picked off by Ben Ordonez. He dribbles down the near sideline and picks up a foul from Doherty. Ordonez once again using that speed along the perimeter, and this time he draws a foul. A very heads-up play as Lannon tried to float it back outside. And a kick into Ben Murray, who kicks it out to Ordonez, but Ordonez left the ground in his attempt at a pump fake. That's a travel. Braintree will take over. Dean Doherty bringing up the ball, the lone senior on Braintree's roster. He crosses half court, passes it over to Amari Howell, and he passes it inside to Omar Barnes, but we've got a foul. Looks like it's going to be against Miles Avalon for getting too physical in his defense against James Lannon in the post. So already getting a physical down low. And the student section chanting, "Let the boys play," as Gorham inbounds to Lannon, who then kicks it out to Howell, who tries to float it into Barnes. Caught by Barnes, and that's going to be another foul on Perez as he tried to go up for the block, but Barnes faked him out. That's going to be 4 fouls for Perez, and it looks like he's going to sub out. That looks like Jack Altman coming in, and yes, Perez is indeed coming out. Altman coming in. Altman had a very nice second quarter, putting up 5 points. And now Gorham tries to inbound, intercepted by Miles Avalon. He tries to give it to a streaking Ordonez, but deflected by Howell and picked up by Dean Doherty. So back-to-back turnovers, and Doherty tries to drive in. Avalon tried to take the charge, but he fell over before he could hit him. And so Braintree continues to play a few passes, and then Lannon gets it inside for a layup. So the first bucket of the half goes to James Lannon. Brookline on the move. Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown drives inside, goes for a floater, and he's fouled by Omar Barnes. Boy, if they're going to run this across the floor this fast all night, I'm not going to be able to keep up. I'm going to be out of breath by the end of this night. So Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown going for the free throw. He misses the first. Score still 41-21 in favor of Brookline after Omar Barnes commits his third foul, Braintree's second of the half. Dahlstedt-Brown going for his second free throw with 6:40 left in the quarter, and he sinks it. 42-21 as Amari Howell brings up the ball for Braintree. He's covered by Ben Ordonez. He crosses half court. He's looking for an option. Drives to his left, and it's poked away, picked up by Dahlstedt-Brown. Dahlstedt-Brown drives. He 2 steps, tries to go in, and is fouled along the way. A nice 2-step drive by Dahlstedt-Brown, getting around his man and forcing the helper to hack at him and commit the foul. That was James Lannon with the foul, his second of the night. Braintree's third of the half, 3 each for both teams so far in the second half, as Dahlstedt-Brown sinks his first free throw this time. So he's got Brookline's only 2 points this half, all off of free throws. Now Dahlstedt-Brown goes for his second free throw, and he makes it. 44-21 now the score. And that's Gorham taking the ball across half court. He passes it to Barnes. Barnes looking for something. He passes it over to Gorham in the corner. Gorham trying to dribble around his man. He gets around his man, but help defense and a block by Miles Avalon. Picked up by Ben Murray. Ben Murray trying to run the floor. He kicks it out. That's a shot by Dahlstedt-Brown and rim rolls, but a putback by Jack Altman, and he makes it. And he makes the bucket. Another basket for Jack Altman, but Dean Doherty runs the floor, hits the bucket for Braintree. 46-23 now the score. Ben Murray with the ball. He kicks it out to Ordonez. Ordonez going for a 3, and he hits it. 49-23 in favor of Brookline. Howell dribbles the ball. He's trying to run. He runs into traffic and draws a foul. There were 3 guys down there in the paint as Howell used some speed to catch them off guard and draw the foul. That foul is going to be against Ordonez, his first of the night. They sub out Miles Avalon for Daniel Dalzell on Brookline's side, as Braintree now looking to inbound. Cahill looks for Lannon, but it looks like there's a foul or maybe a timeout. Yep. Looks like we got a timeout by Braintree. The Brookline student section still going at it as we've got a 49-23 lead by Brookline with 5:27 remaining in this third quarter. And Brookline just off to another solid start. There's only so much I can say about the way they've been leading. Braintree with 4 points so far, while Brookline has put up 8. So Brookline not showing too many signs of slowing down right now. Another block. Again, I can't keep track of all of these, but another block by Miles Avalon this time. More great help defense by Brookline down in the paint. And Braintree now takes the ball back, looking for the inbound. Alex Toy tries to find James Landon, but he slipped. Deflected by Altman, grabbed by Murray. Murray with a Hail Mary pass over to Ordonez. Ordonez gets the ball. He passes it back out to Murray. Back out to Altman. Altman for another three. Front rims it, no good. Murray Howell with the rebound for Braintree, and he brings the ball across half court. He dribbles to his right, goes inside, a nice drive, and he draws another foul. That seems to be Amari's specialty these past couple of quarters, driving in and drawing fouls. That can certainly become problematic for Brookline down the line if the foul numbers start to pile up, and that's the second against Dalzell. Brookline seems to be bringing the depth so far this game. As aside from Perez, not too much foul trouble. Howell makes his first free throw. The score is now 49-24. Jack McCarthy subs in for James Lannon for Braintree. And Howell gets ready for his second free throw. He hits it. 49-25 to score with 5:09 left on the quarter clock. Ordonez takes the ball. He's dribbling against Toy. He crosses half court, passes it over to Ben Murray on his right side. Murray handling the ball. He's looking for a pass. He's up against Chase Cahill of Braintree. Murray passes it over to Dahlstedt Brown. Dahlstedt Brown back to Murray. Murray tries to drive inside, and now Murray draws the foul. He was sandwiched between two Braintree defenders. Neither had their feet planted, and that's an easy foul draw right there. That's a foul by Jack McCarthy this time. Fourth foul for Braintree, while Brookline has 5 fouls. Ben Murray goes to the line with 4:47 left in the third quarter. Murray puts up his first free throw and sinks it. And they reach 50 points. 50-25. Now the score. So Theo Murray now subs in for Lucio Dahlstedt Brown as we have a score of a $half piece versus a quarter. 50-25, that is. And Ben Murray puts up the free throw, misses this one, but a rebound by Theo Murray. Theo Murray gives it over to Ben, who passes it over to Ben Ordonez, who tries to drive in, misses the layup, rebounded by McCarthy, who passes it over to Toy, who tries to throw it ahead to Gorham, deflected by Ben Murray, and that's out of bounds. It's going to be Braintree ball. Gorham going for the inbound. He gives it over to Doherty. Doherty throws it inside to McCarthy, and it looks like either he stepped out of bounds or he drew a foul by Theo Murray. And it looks like he drew a foul by Theo Murray. Gorham will be inbounding once again for Braintree. And we got an en masse substitution by Brookline. We got Alex Socorro, Miles Avalon, Devontae Perez, and Miles Hart coming in to sub for Jack Altman, Ben Murray, Daniel Dalzell, and Ben Ordonez. An inbound to Jack McCarthy. And I don't know if they're going to count that bucket. It looks like they're going to count the basket. And they give the and one. A foul by Theo Murray, and that's his 4th. And that's 7 this half for Brookline. And Braintree gets to shoot the bonus from here on out. McCarthy hits the and one, 50-28 to score. Theo Murray passes over to Devontae Perez. Perez will take it across half court with Dean Doherty in coverage. Perez dribbles to his left, backs off, dribbles in again, kicks it out. The shot from the corner, no good by Hart. Theo Murray was fighting for an offensive board, nothing doing. Devontae Perez tried to defend, but they still got through him. Dean Doherty with a shot, and he hits it. 50-30, now the score with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Devontae Perez with the ball. He shoots from behind the three-point line, nothing good. Alex Socorro with the offensive board, no good again. He gets his own offensive board, and this time he draws a foul. So some nice rebounding hustle there by Alex Socorro. So that's going to be the third foul against Jack McCarthy, 5 for Braintree. Alex Socorro will shoot his first free throw, and no good off the back rim. We got a substitution. Ben Murray comes back in replacing Theo Murray, and Omar Barnes comes back into the game for Braintree along with Josh Depina. Socorro going for his second free throw. He makes this one. Chase Cahill inbounds. That was over to Depina. Back to Cahill. Cahill brings it across half court. He passes it back to Toy. Alex Toy against Ben Murray here. He's looking for an opening. Dribbles to his right. Tries to pass to Omar Barnes. Deflected away and grabbed by Avalon. Avalon passes ahead to Hart. Hart finds Perez on the opposite side. He pump fakes, drives in, and it looks like Perez drew a foul. An aggressive... Oh, no! They're calling that a charge on Perez, and that's 5 fouls for him, and he's going to be subbing out. Looks like Andrew Mitchell will be coming in to replace him. Mitchell trying to make sure his sneakers aren't slippery. And Braintree will come back in. I was about to say that was an aggressive drive for a guy that's already got 4 fouls, but hey, you can't let the foul count stop you from playing the game. So an inbound to Depina. Depina bringing up the ball. Mitchell in defense. He still seems to be worried about the slipperiness of his shoes. Depina dribbles to his right, gives the ball, hands off the ball, but then it's handed back to him. Depina now looking for something. He dribbles to his right. He tries to shoot. It looked like it might have been deflected, but I guess not because it banks in. 51-32, now the score. Ben Murray bringing up the ball. He brings it across half court. Passes it over to Avalon on his right. Avalon tries to drive in, nothing. Passes out to Mitchell. Mitchell drives in, kicks it over to Miles Hart from the corner. He airballs it too far. Picked up by Cahill. Cahill passes it over to Gorham, who passes it ahead to Barnes. Barnes tries to back down against Socorro, and it looks like they might be calling a foul. I think that's going to be a foul against Socorro for pushing off against Barnes. That's his second, Brookline's ninth. And since it's in the bonus, Omar Barnes will get a 1-and-1. Barnes at the line. Puts up the first free throw, and he front rims it. Rebounded by Mitchell. Passed over to Ben Murray. Ben Murray was thinking about a pass, but didn't do it. Starts to go in. He tries to draw a foul, and he does. Goes up for the shot with Jordan Gorham in defense, and it looks like the foul is going to be called on Gorham. And that's Gorham's third foul. 6 total fouls for Braintree this half. One more, and we got the bonus going both ways as Ben Murray hits the first of his 2 free throws. Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown subs in for Miles Avalon for Brookline. Avalon with some pretty good defensive play so far. He's forced a couple of turnovers as Ben Murray puts up his second free throw, and he makes it 53-32. Now the score with about 2.5 minutes left in the third. Alex Toy comes across half court. He passes it over to Gorham, giving back to Toy. Toy looking for something. Can't seem to find anything. He's just dribbling around now. He's back near half court. He tries to dribble to his left. He gets an opening, passes it through to Barnes. Barnes goes for the layup, blocked by Socorro, but it looks like it wasn't a clean block, and Socorro's going to be called for the foul. That's 3 fouls this game for Alex Socorro, 10 for Brookline, and now Braintree has the double bonus as Barnes puts up his first free throw and it's in. Ben Ordonez subs in for Miles Hart for Brookline, and Amari Howell subs in for Jordan Gorham for Braintree. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in the third quarter. A 53-33 score. The Brookline crowd sings happy birthday, and Omar Barnes misses the second free throw. Rebounded by Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown after a bit of a battle. He passes it over to Ordonez, who gives it over to Murray. Murray drives in, kicks out to Mitchell. Mitchell passes it back to Dahlstedt-Brown, and it looks like, yes, Dahlstedt-Brown has traveled. The ball will go to Braintree as James Lannon subs in for Omar Barnes. 1:55 still left on the clock in this third quarter. Alex Toy looking for the inbound. He's looking for somebody. He's running out of time. He tries to throw it in. Picked off by Mitchell. Mitchell passes it out to Murray. Murray chucks it across to Dahlstedt Brown. Dahlstedt Brown, 4-3. No good. Rebounded, I believe, by Toy. Yes, it is. He's dribbling against Ben Ordonez. Almost loses the ball. He's still trying to get across half court. He does. Toy still dribbling around. Gives it over to Lannon. Lannon on the outside, trying to dribble in. And it's poked away by Mitchell. But Lannon ultimately recovers, dribbles inside, misses the layup, no foul call either way. Rebounded by Socorro. Socorro gives it back to Dahlstedt Brown, who chucks it ahead to Mitchell. Mitchell across half court. Mitchell looking for something. He passes it back to Dahlstedt Brown, who then gives it back to Ordonez as Brookline resets. Ordonez passes it over to Ben Murray. Ben Murray driving to the hole. He kicks it out to Dahlstedt Brown, who goes for another three, misses again. But an offensive rebound this time by Ordonez. He fakes people in every direction, does a 360, but cannot make the layup. But then after the rebound, it's stolen by Mitchell, gives it over to Ordonez, and this time he makes the layup. Some heads-up play by Mitchell these past few possessions, and Ordonez finishes on his second try. And it's 55-33 with less than a minute left in the third quarter. That's Josh Deppina, I believe, for Braintree. He gives it over to Chase Cahill. He tries to pass it to Toy, but it's intercepted by Ben Murray. Ben Murray dribbling by himself. Toy was trying to defend, but had no chances. Murray lays it in. 57-33 now the score. Amari Howell bringing up the ball for Braintree. Howell crosses half court. He's looking for a pick from Lannon, but they can't seem to match up. And he passes inside to Lannon. Lannon passes outside to Toy. Toy pump fakes, dribbles in, tries to shoot, but he gets short. Dahlstedt Brown with the rebound. He dribbles out of traffic. He passes over to Ordonez on his left. Ordonez tried to pump fake and give it to Dahlstedt Brown for a give and go, but Ordonez traveled. Too many steps there. He's trying to do too many things at once. And we got some subs in for Braintree. And now Theo Murray comes in, replacing Alex Socorro. And Daniel Dalzell also comes in, replacing Ben Ordonez. For Braintree, it looks like we got Dean Doherty back into the game, as well as number 21, Sharon Rivers, who gets his first play time. But nothing doing in the final seconds as time runs out. The third quarter ends, and Brookline will go into the final quarter with a 57-33 lead over Braintree. And we're back here in Schluntz Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. The Brookline Warriors lead the Braintree Womps 57-33 as we get ready to get the final quarter underway. Ben Murray with the ball for Brookline. He passes it over to Andrew Mitchell. Andrew Mitchell finds Theo Murray at the top. Then he tries to pass it over to Lucio Dahlstedt Brown, who then tries to pass it over to Ben Murray up top. It's deflected away by Dean Doherty. And that's going to be a foul against Ben Murray. That's going to be his third of the game. And so now Dean Doherty will get the double bonus free throws, so he gets to shoot two, even though it was a loose ball foul. Doherty puts up his first, and it rolls in. So the score now 57-34 in favor of Brookline, with 7:46 left to play. Doherty puts up another one. He misses front rim after a loose ball. It's picked up by Ben Murray. Murray dribbling across, tries to pass it over to Theo Murray, but it bounces away. It's picked up by Amari Howell, who drives and hits the layup. So a shaky start for Brookline. Ben Murray inbounds to Andrew Mitchell. Mitchell looking for the pass. He gets it over to Murray. Murray tries to drive in, loses the ball, but it's picked up by Dahlstedt Brown. Passed out to Dalzell, over to Mitchell, over to Theo Murray, over to Dahlstedt Brown. He finds Mitchell driving inside. He tries the turnaround shot, no good. Rebounded by Lannon of Braintree. Doherty now bringing the ball up. He tries to drive through the lane and hits a bank shot. So a 5-0 run to open for Braintree as the score is now 57-38. Ben Murray now with the ball. He goes for a contested shot. It rolls out, and it's picked up by Rivers. Sharon Rivers for Braintree. He gives it over to Dean Doherty, who dribbles across, passes it over to Lannon. Lannon passes it over to Deppina. Deppina holding the ball, looking for an option. He gives it back to Doherty. Doherty passes it over to Howell. Howell with the ball. Up top, he tries to dribble inside. He gets around the defender, but I think he drew a foul by Dahlstedt Brown. Yes, that's going to be a foul on Lucio Dahlstedt Brown. That's his third of the game. If there's one fault to Brookline's game so far, it's been the foul trouble, as Howell goes to the line and misses his first. 57-38 now the score, and Brookline is going to sub in Ben Ordonez. They're going to sub out Andrew Mitchell, who's had a few nice plays today. Amari Howell gets ready for his second free throw. He puts it up, and it's in. 57-39 now the score in favor of Brookline. Dahlstedt Brown brings the ball across half court. He tries to dribble inside, and he puts up a layup. No good. Rebounded Theo Murray, and Murray draws a foul on the putback. That's going to be a foul against James Lannon. That's his third, and Braintree's seventh of the half, as now Brookline gets the first bonus. Theo Murray gets to shoot 2 on this. He misses the first, and Alex Socorro comes back into the game, replacing Daniel Dalzell. Theo Murray going for his second free throw, and he hits it. Lannon inbounds to Doherty. Scores 58-39 in favor of Brookline. Doherty passes it over to Lannon. Lannon holding onto the ball, passes it back to Depina. Depina with the ball. He's against Theo Murray. Puts up a contested shot. No good. Loose ball. Picked up by Dahlstedt Brown, who chucks it ahead to Ben Ordonez, who fakes out, goes for a pass to Theo Murray, and Murray draws another foul, but I think Depina might have hit his head as he fell after trying to defend Theo Murray and committing the foul. Depina is slow to get up. That is Braintree's Josh Depina, a junior guard, and he's still slow to get up. Here's hoping he's okay. You know, nobody roots for an injury, and it sounded like he hit his head on the gym floor kind of hard. He's got coaches and trainers looking at him right now. His teammates leaning over, making sure their teammate's okay. And we got a bit of a stoppage here. 58-39 the score for Brookline with 5:54 left in the game. As they pick up Depina, he gets a round of applause from across the building, and he walks off. You know, you got to be safe with head injuries. Nobody wants any long lingering damage from something like that. It looks like Depina is actually, I can't tell if that he's adjusting his jersey or holding his lower back. If that's the lower back, that's dangerous as well. You know, certainly we wish all the best to Depina. Hope he's not too badly hurt, and if he is, we wish a speedy recovery. So he subs out. They bring in Jordan Gorham, and Theo Murray goes for the free throw, and he hits it. And now Mike Murphy into the game, replacing James Lannon for Braintree. 5:54 still to go in this quarter as the score is 59-39. Theo Murray puts up his second free throw, nothing but net, and it's 60-39 Brookline. Amari Howell bringing up the ball for Braintree. He crosses half court. He tries to drive in. No shot, but it's a double bonus, so I don't think it matters much. And they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Ordonez. And, well, this might be unsportsmanlike against Howell. The ball being passed back and forth, and I think he got a little frustrated and threw it, I think, at Dahlstedt Brown. Bounced off his head, and I think the refs might call Howell for that. The foul was on Ben Ordonez on the play, his second, and Braintree is in the double bonus, but it looks like Howell, I think, is arguing that he was just trying to give it back to the ref, but it went the wrong way. And either way, we've got a timeout by Brookline. So it seems that at this point, Brookline is just kind of coasting to the finish line. They got a over 20-point lead, and it looks like Brookline's getting ready for another mass substitution. And I mean, when the deficit's this wide, like, you can't stop playing. Obviously, you can't stop playing. But, you know, it certainly does seem like a point where you can start to take your foot off the gas. You know, make sure everybody gets some playing time, build up your team. If there's one thing that Brookline's been doing well, it's the depth in this game. We've been seeing some plays made by players up and down the board so far this game. And Howell is now going to get to shoot his free throws, it looks like. So Howell puts up his first, and it rolls out. Rolled just out of the rim. People from both sides still asking questions to the refs, making sure they understand the arrangement as Howell hits his second free throw. And now it looks like Ben Ordonez is going to get to take a technical free throw for Brookline after Howell made a bit of a sloppy play there at the end of a very physical play and threw the ball at, I believe, Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown. Ordonez sinks the first technical free throw. 61-40 is now the score. And Ordonez puts up the second, and he hits that one as well. And now it looks like Ordonez will sub out as well. And now on the floor for Brookline will be Miles Avalon, Jack Altman, Miles Hart, Andrew Mitchell, and Daniel Dalzell. So none of the starting five on the court right now, except I think Avalon started. I can't be sure, but Mitchell with the ball right now. He passes over to Altman. Altman goes for another three, front rims it, no good. A bit of a fight for the board, but nothing doing. It's picked up by Sharon Rivers. He gives it back to Dean Doherty. Doherty across half court. He dribbles to his right. Passes it back to Rivers. Rivers trying to drive inside. He goes for a layup and draws another foul. That's either going to be against Dalzell or Miles Hart. And it's against Miles Hart, but that's his first of the game. Sharon Rivers will get two shots. Brookline currently leads 62-40 with 5:12 left in the game. And Rivers misses the first free throw wide left. And now Rivers will go for the second free throw. Puts it up. He misses both. Rebound by Mitchell. Mitchell bringing the ball across half court. Looking for someone to pass to. He gives it over to Altman. Altman dribbling. Tries to go inside. Passes it back out to Mitchell. Mitchell drives in. Passes it back out to Dalzell. Dalzell in and out back to Altman. Altman passes it across to Avalon. Avalon looking for something. Avalon gives it back to Dalzell at the top. Dalzell over to Altman. Altman drives inside. He lays it in for two. Altman's made a few nice shots off the bench today. That was one of them. 64-40. Now the score in favor of... Oh! Altman picks the ball away from Doherty. He drives on the fast break and draws a foul. Boy, I can't even finish giving him some credit and running off the score before Jack Altman pokes the ball away from Doherty as he was trying to bring the ball up. He runs the floor, draws a foul from Doherty. That's his fourth. Braintree's 10th. Double bonus for Brookline. Either way, this is a shooting foul, and Altman will shoot two. Altman front rims his first free throw. The score is still 64-40 in favor of Brookline with 4:31 left to play. Altman lining up for a second free throw. He misses both. Rebounded by Rivers for Braintree. He gives it over to Doherty. Doherty bringing up the ball against Dalzell this time. He dribbles. He kicks it out to Gorham, but Gorham slipped and fell. Mitchell picks up the turnover. Mitchell passes it over to Hart. Hart driving inside. He goes for a layup, but he's called for a charge. Alex Toy drawing the charge this time. So that'll be Hart's second foul of the game. And even despite the double bonus, the offensive foul does not send anyone to the free throw line, and Braintree gets the ball. Toy with the ball. He manages to fake out Altman, drive across half court. He's got no one in front of him, but he kicks it out to number 25. That's Charlie Mazzeo, who's getting his first play time. Toy now with the ball. He passes it over to Rivers. Rivers drives in, runs into traffic, and it looks like he drew another foul. I think that's going to be Hart's third. So Hart with three quick fouls here late in the game. Both teams in the double bonus. 64-40 still the score. 3:49 left to play. So Rivers goes to the line. He puts up his first and front rims it. And we got another substitution in. Braintree brings in Johnny Doherty. First time I've seen him. He subs in for Jordan Gorham. So it seems like both teams are going to the bench right now. Rivers puts up another one and misses badly. And I think they may have called Braintree for a lane violation, as it were. And so now Andrew Mitchell bringing up the ball for Brookline. He passes it over to Jack Altman. Altman manages to get a little separation, tries to put up a three, misses wildly off the side of the backboard, cannot collect the rebound, and now Braintree with the ball. It's Alex Toy. He passes inside to Rivers, into some traffic, loose ball, but it's picked up by Mike Murphy, who kicks it out to Mazzeo. Mazzeo kicks it over to Rivers. Rivers passes it back up top to Toy. Toy bounces it over to Rivers, who gives it back to Toy. Toy looking for a dribbling option. He tries to dribble inside, makes it through some traffic, and it looks like he draws a foul. And that foul is on Miles Avalon of Brookline. That is his third. And Alex Toy will get a pair of free throws. 3:06 left to play. And Toy front rims his first. It's been a little bit since our last bucket, as Alex Toy gets ready for another free throw. Toy puts it up, and he makes this one. First point in about a minute, and Alex Socorro subs in, replacing Andrew Mitchell. And now that'll be, I believe, Dalzell bringing up the ball. Dalzell gets across half court, and fakes Toy out of his shoes, drives in, kicks it out. Jack Altman going for the three, bricks it, and it's rebounded by Johnny Doherty, who gives it over to Alex Toy. So a fun moment for the fans as Toy was caused to slip by some fancy moves from Dalzell, but unfortunately it did not lead to points. Toy still with the ball, and it looks like he just drew a reach foul. Jack Altman was swiping at the ball, missed ball, got hand, and that'll be Altman's first foul of the game. And Brookline calling a timeout with 2:36 left to play, a 64-41 lead. So, not a lot of scoring now that a lot of the backups have come in. We're in what seems to be garbage time at this portion of the game, if I can use the local nomenclature. And we got some chants from the Brookline student section. It seems like they were chanting for another fan on the opposite side of the stands. That's on my end of the stands. I'm on the scores table side, while the student section is on the opposite side. It seemed as though the students were chanting for another fan, and eventually he was lifted up by some friends, and he got some cheers from them. And we return to the floor. 2:36 still to go. 64-41, Brookline leads. Alex Toy of Braintree at the line. And his first just rolls out. Not a lot of free throw success so far for either team down the stretch here, especially for Braintree. And Toy misses another. Rebounded by Socorro. He gives it back to Avalon. Avalon dribbles it up. He gets past half court, throws it over to Altman on the corner, but Altman travels. So Altman has had a tough past few possessions. A missed three, a reach-in foul, and then a travel. He looks a little frustrated, but he's had a pretty nice game so far for a guy coming off the bench. A few really good moments. Nothing to be too disappointed about, in my humble opinion. Braintree with the ball. It's Mazzeo holding the rock. He passes it inside. It's kicked out to Mike Murphy from Johnny Doherty, but Murphy misses the shot, rebounded by Avalon. He kicks it over to Miles Hart, who throws it ahead to Jack Altman. Back over to Hart. Hart drives inside, looking for an opening, and I think Hart drew a foul. Hart had some foul trouble in the early goings of this quarter. Shortly after being subbed in, he committed three, but now he draws a foul from Johnny Doherty. First for Johnny Doherty. Both teams are in the double bonus. Hart puts up a free throw and misses. 1:49 left to play in this game. Miles Hart goes for his second free throw, and that one rolls in. 65-41 the score, as Brookline seems well on its way to a season-opening win over Braintree. Alex Toy passes it across to Mazzeo. Mazzeo tried to pass to Rivers, deflected out of bounds by Avalon. Johnny Doherty with the inbound. He gives it over to Charlie Mazzeo. Mazzeo passes it over to Toy. Toy with the ball up top. Swings it over to Doherty. Doherty gives it back to Toy. Toy looking around, trying to find an opening. He floats it over to Mazzeo. Mazzeo's got the ball. He tries to pass it over to Doherty. Deflected out of bounds again by Avalon. There appear to be 5 seconds left on the shot clock as Andrew Mitchell subs in for Miles Avalon after a couple of nice pass deflections. Johnny Doherty inbounds over to Rivers. They're running out of time. Rivers gives it back to Doherty. Doherty puts up a shot. He misses the hoop and the rim, so that's a 24-second violation. Even though Braintree grabbed the offensive board, it didn't count because they violated the 30-second shot clock. Now Brookline with the ball. Andrew Mitchell passes it over to Alex Socorro. Socorro looking for some dribbling openings. He kicks it out to Hart. Hart gives it over to Mitchell. Mitchell, he tried to throw a pass, miscommunicated, intercepted by Toy. Toy runs the floor, and it looks like he'll be drawing another foul by Miles Hart. That's going to be his 4th. And it is the 4th foul for Miles Hart. 45.3 seconds left as Brookline leads 65-41. The Warriors will improve to a 1-0 record, while the Womps will fall to 0-1. A nice start of the season for Brookline as Alex Toy misses his first free throw off the front rim. He's had a real tough time shooting free throws this quarter. He's been there plenty, hasn't racked up a lot of points. Toy puts up another free throw. This one rolls in. 65-42 now the score as we go into the final 40 seconds of play. Andrew Mitchell passes it over to Daniel Dalzell. Dalzell gives it back to Mitchell. Brookline taking it slow. Mitchell tries to pass over to Altman, intercepted by Toy again. Toy goes for a shot, misses, no foul this time. Altman with the rebound. Altman chucks it ahead. He was looking for Hart, but just missed, and it's out of bounds on the opposite end. Braintree now with the ball. Toy bringing it up. 20 seconds to go in this season opening game here at Schlentz Gym. Toy passes it over to Murphy. Murphy passes it over to Rivers. The student section really getting going. Rivers tries to pass it over to Toy. Toy looking for a pick. And he runs into traffic, and it looks like he's going to draw a foul by Daniel Dalzell. 5.2 seconds left on the clock as Dalzell commits his 3rd foul. Looks like we're about to wind down this game. 5.2 seconds on the clock. Brookline getting ready to celebrate a season opening win as Toy sinks the first free throw. 65-43. And Toy puts up his 2nd free throw, misses, loose ball, picked up by Hart, just dribbling out the final seconds. 1-0, game over. That's the final buzzer. Final score, the Brookline High Warriors 65 and the Braintree High Womps 43. So Brookline opens with a very impressive 20-plus point win after a nice opening of a 22-8 quarter in the first, led by 10 first-quarter points from Ben Murray. The veteran leaders, as well as the guys off the bench, showing they can still play. They may not have some of the big names from last year, but this team can still bring it on the court. A very powerful message delivered by Brookline this night. Hello everyone, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, back here at Schlentz Gym in Brookline, Massachusetts, where the Brookline High Warriors boys basketball team just opened their season with a dominant 65-43 win over Braintree High. I am joined now by the Brookline head coach, Courtney Valentine. Coach, pretty good way to start the season, I'd say.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out and doing this. This is great for the community, great for these young men, something that they'll be able to remember down the road. This is the last time for our seniors that they'll play Braintree. So this is a great way to start the season. These guys, man, they played with intensity tonight. And that's what we talk about, you know. Play our game. Come out here, play our game. And that's what our seniors did. Yeah. Our seniors showed, you know, what we're made of, what they're made of, I should say. and they played Brookline basketball. That's all I ask them to do. Come out here, have fun, play Brookline basketball, and good things happen for us all the time.
Yes. You talk about that intensity. To me, one of the biggest points of this game can be summed up in the very first possession. They come down the floor. You guys block them 3 times. And then after that, I stopped counting. Because I was just seeing so many great defensive plays, so many great executions of help defense, especially down low. What did you think of the boys on their defensive side holding Braintree to 43?
Well, that's what, when I played here at Brookline, we always said, we're a defensive-minded program. And, that's when I got this job. In the interview, that's what I said. I said, we play defense. That's what Brookline is known for. And that's what we're going to bring back into this program, And these guys, to be honest with you, I don't want them blocking shots. I don't want them doing that because that's, as you can tell, that's where the fouls come from.
Yes.
So I'd prefer them to stay on the floor, but they get excited and they want to get up there. And like you said, we're very athletic, and these guys can jump, they can do it all,
You talk about guys staying on the floor, but it was an absolute rotation today. We saw plenty of the team's depth. But like you were talking about, those seniors, the starters, they really led the way. Team high 15 points from Ben Murray, including 10 points in that first quarter to really set the tone. Following up, we had, I believe, 10 points from Ben Ordonez and 10 from Lucio Dahlstedt Brown. So a really strong showing from the seniors. And Murray really had a bunch of nice looks at the basket, a lot of nice layups in that first quarter. That's what you want from your co-captain.
Absolutely. These guys are offensively gifted. I preach to them, you guys have worked so hard, with your off-season workouts to put the ball in the hoop. But where we lay our hat is on the defensive end. The individual stat line, that's one of the things that they talked about in the preseason. They said, if we're going to do anything, it's not about the individual, it's about the collective, And when they do good things happen, they will score like that. I'm not worried about them scoring. I know they can score. Like I said, for me, it's not the individual, it's about the team, it's about the defensive side of the ball for us.
Yeah. Well, when you get a 60-plus point game at the high school level and no one gets higher than 15 points, that to me screams team offensive attack.
Absolutely, that's a great call. I'm not one for the stat lines. It's like I said, if they keep playing hard together and stay together, share the basketball, good things happen. And that's exactly what happened tonight. And I expect that this is going to continue. This is a different group that we have this year. They're not as talented, so to speak, as last year. Starting the year 20-0, but these guys play together. They play for each other, and not to mention, we're missing a bunch of guys tonight too. So good things are on the horizon for us. Even the coaching staff. Once we started practicing, everyone feels the energy that's out here. It's a good feel to this program right now. We're building.
Yep. I think embedded in your answer there was an answer to one of the biggest questions of this season. You lost a lot of key guys. You lost Camille. You lost Barrett. You lost Price at the end of the summer for a transfer. So like you said, a very different group of guys. But one of the nice things about a big school like Brookline, you lose all that, you've got a senior class of 8 guys coming back.
Well, these are program guys. These aren't guys we found off the street. Unfortunate for some of these guys, they had to play JV last year because we were so talented, like you said. But now this is their opportunity, and you know what? They're making the best of it right now, and I'm very proud of the whole team right now. Yeah. Everybody.
So, always the big question after you have a strong season like you did last year, and then you come in with a very new staff. Can you guys follow that up? What's this year's team going to do?
Well, the biggest thing for me, we had a target on our back last year, all year long. I just want these guys to play consistent basketball and get better every day, and good things are going to happen. We'll be solid, and it's not this year. Every year, like you said, this is a big school. Every year we will have a solid team, so long as I'm sitting up here at the helm.
Yep. And you'll be back here in Schlunz at the helm again Tuesday, I believe, for your next home game.
Against Natick, strong team. I believe they had a coaching staff change at the head. But Natick is another big school. They're always competitive, always strong. We don't look past any opponent. We take it one game at a time, just like the Patriots do.
Yeah, exactly. So we heard plenty of great noise from the fans today. The student section was having a lot of fun. What would you say to them to advertise next game?
Are you kidding me? The sixth man. That's why we get shirts printed for them. We throw them out to these guys, man. Our fans are amazing. The super fans is what they're called. amazing group, best fans in the Bay State Conference in the state as far as I'm concerned. They cheer. They actually, half the time I'm laughing at them because they're so funny, you know. But they're creative with their themes for every game and stuff. You know, it's awesome. It's awesome. You know, the kids. This is what it's about, building the culture in the school, man. And it starts with those guys right there. You know.
Any final words tonight, Coach?
Go Warriors.
Good note to end on, Coach Valentine. Thank you so much. That was Coach Courtney Valentine of the Brookline High boys basketball team, which just finished its season opening game with a 65-43 win over Braintree. Final stat line, as you heard during that interview, senior co-captain Ben Murray leading the way with 15 points, including a whopping 10 in a first quarter that saw Brookline jump out to a 22-8 lead. Ben Ordonez, the other senior co-captain, finished with 10, 7 of which came in the second half. Lucio Dahlstedt-Brown, another senior starter, he finished with 10 points, 5 of them off free throws. Jack Altman had a nice game off the bench. He finished with 9, including 1 three-pointer. Next on the list, Theo Murray off the bench finished with 5, including another of the team's three-pointers. Miles Avalon, a lot of great defensive plays, only finished with 2 on the offense. Miles Hart had 1 off a free throw in the fourth quarter. Daniel Dalzell finished with 4 points, all at the line, including a 3-for-3 off a three-pointer foul. And Alex Socorro wrapping it up with 6 points, 2 off of free throws. So a very, across-the-board performance by these Brookline Warriors, as I was talking about with Coach Valentine. On Braintree's end, Amari Howell finishes leading the way with 11 points, 7 of which came at the line. He started driving and drawing a lot of fouls in the second quarter, kept it up through the rest of the way. Dean Doherty finished with 7 points, all of which came in the second half. Jack McCarthy, another 7 points, 4 from Omar Barnes, 4 from James Lannon, 2 from Josh Depina, who had a bit of a scary fall late in the game. That's going to... and Alex Toy finished with 3 points, all at the line. So that's going to do it here at Schlentz Gym. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you to everyone who listened live and everyone who will listen afterwards.